you've written for journalists and you've written for the Where We Live. Do you have anything else that you're working on right now, or are you working on pitches, or?
I'm working on some pitches. The main thing that I'm very passionate about right now, I'm doing a graphic novel called La Voz De M.A.Y.O. The Voice of M.A.Y.O. is what it translates to be. It's about my great-grandfather's political activism in the early 1970s. He helped the last Native American tribe be recognized by the federal government and by the U.S. government under the Carter administration. He and a team of people helped this tribe who had been in Tucson forever, as long as like at least the early 1800s, and he helped them maintain their property, their land, and their integrity as a native people. And for some reason, that information was never documented in a proper way.
Oh, wow.
So I am finally putting that experience and their work into a comic book. I was inspired by John Lewis's March. That was just such a moving, beautiful piece of work about his life and his time in the civil rights movement into present day. So I wanted to do that for my great-grandfather, and his name is Ramon Jauregue. So we start off with me taking him to his last march to keep Mexican migrant families together, and then going into his early political activism and his time in World War II as a sniper, as a Marine sniper. So Jason Gonzalez is going to write, he's going to draw. I'm writing and lettering. He's drawing and coloring the book. We want to have it out on Columbus Day as a statement for Indigenous people, and it's very important for me to depict Latin, Mexican people of color, and more importantly, Native Americans in a positive light when at this time there are not.
Yeah, they're anything but that.
Exactly, and there's some of that going on, but right now the national conversation in the last 2 years is that natives and Mexican people are rapists and killers and murderers, and their worst is coming. But
it's terrible. I mean, it's just blatantly wrong. It's so weird that there's this connotation with with a race. You are a certain type of person as opposed to you're just a person.
Right.
And it's terrible that a lot of people think in that way. It's really not fair, because then you see someone in the street and you get scared. That's why you have like so many like shootings that are just by accident.
Just violence.
So some people just don't understand. People are scared.
Right. Right.
Well, anyone could be scary.
Definitely.
And everyone can be fine. It's not about the color of the skin or anything like that.
I agree. Yeah.
I think it's amazingly cool the way you've chosen to honor your grandfather and tell his story. And did he tell you this story growing up? What was the process?
My life, my family would tell me that he did something great, and they didn't really go beyond that. And I've always been a curious person, so whenever I'd see him, I'd want to talk to him about it. But he was very quiet and very shy in his later years, and I was no longer working in journalism. I was a radio DJ. I was.
What haven't you done?
I know. And when I was, I just didn't have like steady income, and I got to a point where I didn't write a single word for a year, and I needed to go back into that. And I had this epiphany to do a story about my great grandfather. My mom and I drove out to see him in his broken trailer, and he gave me all these documents that my uncles and my cousins all had gathered for him, and I was astonished at what he has done and how poorly it was documented. So it was important for me to take all that and tell a story. And I was originally going to write a novel, but I realized that this could be a comic. And after reading March, I was I was very inspired and a little disappointed in myself for not doing that first. But I'm really lucky, to have been teamed up. Matt Hawkins, my boss, is the one who teamed me up with Jason, and Jason and I are churning through it, and we're very excited to show people
I'm excited to read it. I can't wait.
Yeah. I want to do a Kickstarter so that I could do some merchandise.
Yeah,
and be able to.
When you told me about the story, it was just so compelling. I felt like it would work perfectly on Kickstarter.
Yeah,
I think that's like the way to go, and I think it's just you telling a real story about real people and real events that happened, and I think people resonate with that.
Yeah.
And helping getting that story out there is so cool.